So shifting gears, like me, our next speaker is not a scientist, although she does have a master's in public health, and she's on the steering committee for NC MomsRising, and she's gonna address a topic that an entire Raleigh is gonna come here to talk about after ours, if you don't already know. But I think it's going to be a slightly different perspective. She has a very personal story involving gun violence that she's going to share with us, and we'll understand one of the many reasons someone might be here to stand up for science. So how about a nice warm welcome for Bronwyn Lucas.
Good morning, everyone. I'm here today to celebrate the importance of science in all aspects of our country's politics and policies. It's more important than ever to make sure that we value science and research as we make decisions that will affect our lives and the well-being of our children for generations to come. My name is Bronwyn Lucas, and I am a volunteer with North Carolina MomsRising. And I'm here to talk about a major public health issue that has dominated the news for far too long: our country's gun violence epidemic. No matter how many lawmakers deny it, research consistently shows that gun violence is in fact a public health issue. More than 36,000 people, including 7,000 children, die every year because of guns. Right here in North Carolina, in 2016, 1,400 people died from guns. Gun deaths in North Carolina have risen significantly faster than the state's population. Common sense, science-based solutions are out there, but it has been impossible to implement them due to a gun lobby that invests millions to impede and muddy the policy debate. They repeat that the only thing that stops a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Scientific research has shown again and again that the presence of guns in our homes, in our churches, and in our schools makes it much more likely that a shooting will occur. My family knows this firsthand. My husband lost his father to gun violence before he was even born. His mom was 8 months pregnant when a bullet violently struck his father and killed him. A few years ago, my 23-year-old nephew was shot and killed while attending an off-campus homecoming party. A mundane disagreement turned deadly because somebody at that party had a gun. If the man did not have a firearm, my nephew would still be alive. Instead, our family had to endure another tragedy because of gun violence. Now my nephew's daughter is growing up without a father, just like my husband has done. Both gun deaths happened here in Durham. Gun violence is the third leading cause of death for children in the United States and the most common cause of death for young men ages 15 to 19. In 2016, according to the Centers for Disease Control, or the CDC, firearms killed more teenagers than cancer, heart disease, and diabetes combined. Last year, Johns Hopkins University found that the annual medical cost from victims of gun violence is an average of $2.8 billion in the emergency room and in inpatient charges alone. Despite all the evidence that gun violence is a major public health issue for our country, the CDC's National Center for Injury Prevention and Control has been essentially banned from performing research on the public health implications of gun violence. In 1996, Congress added the Dickey Amendment to an omnibus appropriations bill, asserting that funds for the center could not be used to advocate or promote gun control. With this move and corresponding budget cuts, Congress and the gun lobby effectively silenced the scientists at the CDC who would provide us with the hard data we needed to support policies that would keep our families safe from firearms. I can't overemphasize the importance of research as it relates to gun violence. We need more facts, more data to be able to design effective public health solutions. The gun industry and lobbyists know this, which is why they have essentially halted all CDC research on gun violence. On a positive note, just this past Monday, Kaiser Permanente announced that it will begin studying gun violence by investing $2 million in research that will involve doctors and other professionals in its hospitals and centers nationwide. There was yet another positive major advance just this past week in the fight against gun violence. Just 4 days ago, Bank of America announced that it will stop lending money to manufacturers of assault-style weapons for civilian use, such as the AR-15 style rifles that have been used in multiple mass shootings. Despite the industry's unyielding stance on this issue and the strength of the gun lobby, I'm hopeful that we are finally on the cusp of change. I'm also the co-founder of Youth Empowered Solutions, a nonprofit that mobilizes high school students across the country to organize around public health issues and advocate for policy changes. For years, I've witnessed how these youth-led movements have had a great impact on their communities, but they often don't lead to mainstream national discussion until now. We have all witnessed the students of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida emerge from tragedy to become powerful advocates for the sensible gun reforms that could have saved the lives of their classmates and teachers. As students across the country respond to their rallying cry for gun safety, we're seeing a new generation of activists fully emerge, full of energy, ideas, and confidence that they can make a difference. And I absolutely believe they can. As young people have been at the forefront of almost every social justice movement throughout history, these students' clear-eyed assessment of the changes we need absolutely must be matched by science-based research. It's time to bring science back into our politics. It's time for our legislators to value the opinions of experts over campaign donations from gun lobbyists. The movement is growing louder and more influential every day. If we follow the students' leads, I'm certain that real change will happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Bronwyn Lucas. And that's a perfect example of a topic that it's contentious, and no matter what you feel about guns, our policies should at least be based in research, evidence-based policy, no matter what your opinion is. And I mean, we do have a Second Amendment rally coming up after our rally, and I don't want to start any trouble, largely because I'm unarmed, always. I am a gun-free zone. But whatever our personal feelings are, evidence-based policy, that's what we're here about now.